Most fighters leave the ring on a stretcher, or they leave broken, slurring their words, chasing one last paycheck that never comes. But Terence "Bud" Crawford just pulled off the greatest heist in the history of combat sports. He didn't just beat 42 opponents, he beat the game itself. The news dropped out of nowhere. An undefeated 5-division world champion walking away at the absolute peak of his powers. No decline, no embarrassing loss to a younger lion, just a clean break.
I want to thank Bomac. I want to thank Red, Saul, Chad, Bernard, Dr. Conroy, Steven, Paulina, Shakur, Denise. I want to thank Julie. I want to thank Jessica, Ish, most importantly, my brother. I want to thank Harrison, my brother. I want to thank everybody that had a part in making this a success. Mama, Grandma, we made it. We made it. You know, it's been a journey, you know? It's been a journey. I remember like it was yesterday, I went to quit boxing. You know, it was getting to the point where I didn't enjoy it no more. I didn't love it no more. And Bomac, you know, he always, hey, don't worry about it, man. Just keep going. It's gonna all pay off one day. And I'm like, man, fuck boxing. But them having the faith in me and keeping me on the narrow arrow, you know, is what y'all see today.
While the internet is exploding with debates about where he ranks on the all-time great list, one reaction stood out above the noise. It wasn't a promoter trying to spin a narrative or a rival talking trash. It was a message from Andre Ward, the last American great to leave the sport with his 0 intact. Ward didn't just congratulate him on the belts, he validated the escape. He knows exactly what it takes to walk away when the world is screaming for you to stay. And his message to Crawford reveals a darker truth about boxing that fans rarely think about. This wasn't just a retirement, it was a survival story.
I'm not surprised that Crawford's retiring at all. You know, he's talked about it before in the past, and certainly there's no better way to go, right, than to walk away from the sport, a sport that retires too many people on sports terms, and to go out after beating Canelo Alvarez in the biggest fight in a long time in a stadium is storybook stuff. So I'm not surprised that he's retiring. I am surprised by the timing of it. I didn't expect this to come today. You know, I thought there was a great chance he was going to fight again next year. And maybe he still will. Who knows, right? You never know with boxing retirements. So surprised in one sense and not surprised in another sense.
Andre Ward's reaction to the news was immediate and incredibly specific. He posted a salute on Instagram that cut through all the generic well wishes.
Personally, I wouldn't be mad if I never see Terence fight again. The way he performed, getting ready to be 38, I think, in a few days. Man, what better way to go out? What better way to tell the game goodbye? What better way? Who you gonna fight? I was arguing with Max on the way to the venue about Boots Ennis. Nah, we don't go fight Canelo and then go back and fight Boots Ennis. I saw a report today. Somebody was talking about him going up to light heavyweight. Nah, we don't go up to light heavyweight. We just went up 3 weight classes since the Spence fight and 2 weight classes since the Madrimov fight, my last fight. This is the perfect send-off, Roy.
Yep.
In my opinion.
Without a
question. It's the perfect send-off.
He wrote, "Salute to a real one. Bud beat one of the toughest opponents any fighter will ever face. The sport itself. Yes, Lord." That phrase, "beat the sport itself," is chilling when you really unpack it. Ward went on to say, "Retire from boxing. Don't let boxing retire you." This is the perspective you only get from someone who has been in the trenches. Ward knows that boxing is designed to chew fighters up. The system is built to keep you in the ring until you are a shell of yourself, squeezing every last drop of value until you're discarded. By saluting Crawford, Ward is highlighting the rarest victory of all, keeping your health and your faculties. Crawford isn't leaving because he's slow or injured. He's leaving because he conquered the map. That yes laud from Ward wasn't just a celebration. It was a sigh of relief for a brother in arms who made it out the other side without becoming a casualty of the business.
Personally, I wouldn't be mad if I never see Terence fight again. The way he performed, getting ready to be 38, I think, in a few days. Man, what better way to go out? What better way to tell the game goodbye? What better way? Who you gonna fight? I was arguing with Max on the way to the venue about Boots Ennis. Nah, we don't go fight Canelo and then go back and fight Boots Ennis. I saw a report today, somebody was talking about him going up to light heavyweight. Nah, we don't go up to light heavyweight. We just went up 3 weight classes since the Spence fight and 2 weight classes since the Madrimov fight, my last fight. This is the perfect send-off, Roy.
Yep.
In my opinion.
Without
it's
a question.
The perfect send-off.
We have to talk about how exclusive this club actually is. With this announcement, Terence Crawford joins Andre Ward and Floyd Mayweather Jr. in the tiny circle of modern legends who retired undefeated. But the context here is different. Ward retired at 32-0 in 2017, shocking the world just after his wars with Sergey Kovalev. He faced immense pressure to come back, but he stayed retired. He sees that same resolve in Crawford. Crawford retiring at 42-0, especially in the 4-belt era, is statistically absurd. To navigate 5 different weight divisions without a single blemish is something we might not see again for decades. The connection between Ward and Crawford here is deep. They are both defensive masterminds who are often criticized for being too good or too technical, yet they both ended their careers on their own terms. When Ward says salute, it's a welcome handshake into a VIP room where the price of admission is perfection. They are the only 2 men in recent history who stared down the temptation of one more fight and chose their legacy instead.
How many? Like, I can tell you some of them. Gene Tunney was the first guy. It's not that he was undefeated, but he was light heavyweight who moved up to heavyweight, beat Jack Dempsey, beat him in a rematch, walked away on top, right? Rocky Marciano walked away on top. Lennox Lewis walked away on top. Joe Calzaghe walked away on top. But I don't know, Eder Joffrey, a guy who not a lot of people know about anymore, but who was one of the greatest fighters ever, walked away after a loss where he got ripped off, came back years later in another division, reeled off about 27 wins, won another title in a heavier division, and then walked away on top. But I don't know that anyone has done it quite like Terence Crawford, because Lennox Lewis, Andre Ward walked away on top after beating Kovalev. Maybe Andre came closest to doing what Crawford just did, if he doesn't come back and if Crawford stays retired. But Lennox really struggled with Vitaly Klitschko. And he looked at Vladimir Klitschko and thought, I think I can do it. I believe I can do it if I make myself get into that level of shape. I don't want to do that anymore. You know, like an American football player who says, I just don't want to run through that brick wall anymore. But the question really is, can you still do that if you think you don't want to anymore? So a wise man says, I don't want to find out. I'm going to retire. Andre Ward, I think it was the same thing after Kovalev. Like he could look at Beterbiev, a few other guys, and go, yeah, I could do it, but oh my God, that's going to be hell. And I put myself through hell for this many years already. I don't want to do it anymore.
If you've been paying attention to boxing media over the last few years, you know that Andre Ward has been Crawford's shield against the critics long before his retirement. On his show, All the Smoke Fight, Ward has frequently gone to war with other analysts to defend Crawford's resume. There's a famous clip where Ward gets into a heated debate with Mark Kriegel, passionately arguing that the media was creating a false narrative that Crawford hadn't fought anybody.
I don't have to talk to you, right? So I use Terence Crawford as an example. And I'm not gonna name names, but I'm gonna just speak generally. A lot of people were wrong about him. Bob has his opinion about, I'm not looking at the books, I can't speak on what he lost, I can't speak on that, but I'm saying him not being a draw, you know, talking about his personality, you know, and not realizing this dude's story, which you detailed in great detail this whole time at ESPN, but not having the wherewithal to say, man, maybe he's not very talkative, because of what he's coming from, and there's a trust thing. So let me do a little work to try to build this trust.
Ward saw greatness when everyone else was complaining about matchmaking politics. He argued that Crawford was the best fighter on the planet years before the Errol Spence or Canelo Alvarez fights even happened. Ward's validation now isn't just hindsight. It's an "I told you so" to the entire industry. He recognized that Crawford was being frozen out because he was high risk and low reward for other stars. Now that Crawford has cleaned house and left, Ward's past defenses look prophetic. He knew the talent was undeniable, and he refused to let the networks downplay it. The respect between these two isn't just from watching tapes, it was forged in blood and sweat behind closed doors. Ward has been brutally honest in recent clips about sparring with Crawford early in Bud's career. Ward admitted that even when Crawford was lighter and less experienced, he could feel something different in the ring. He talked about the famous switch, that moment when Crawford turns southpaw and completely changes the geometry of a fight. Ward said he tested Crawford in the gym, and Crawford tested him right back. Real fighters know the difference between a champion and a generational talent within 3 minutes of sparring. Ward realized years ago that Crawford possessed a computer-like fight IQ that rivaled his own. That's why this salute hits so hard. It's not just professional courtesy, it's coming from a guy who has felt Crawford's power and precision firsthand. Ward knew that if anyone could navigate the minefield of a 20-year career without getting blown up, it was the guy he traded punches with in that gym in Hayward.
You fight how you spar how you fight. And if I'm in there just doing this, catch, then when the fight come and everything is full blast, full speed, I'm not gonna be able to keep up because I done train that way.
Right.
I can hit the bag, I can hit the miss, all that I want, but nothing's coming back.
Right.
I'm not feeling that presence of a person pushing me, hitting me, holding me, things like that. So sparring is very important. And not saying that you have to, go hard every single time you spar, but there gotta be days where, that fighter is trying to put it on you because now you're getting used to that, and now your body is getting in shape to withstand the rounds, the time, the grappling, the holding, the hitting, all that. So you need that.
How do you judge when you're doing too much hard sparring?
Your body will tell you. I'm a firm believer in listening to my body. So I've been doing this a long time. My coaches, they've been doing this just as long or longer, or Bomag longer. Well, we all started, this journey on when I was 2008 when I turned pro. So they've been around me since I was a kid, so they know when my body is breaking down or when I'm complaining about something. Bo would be like, all right, well, we're gonna do this today.
The timing of this retirement is the ultimate mic drop. According to the reports, Crawford is walking away fresh off a historic victory over Canelo Alvarez, cementing him as an undisputed champion in a third weight class. This is the piece of the puzzle that makes Ward's "beat the sport" comment so poignant. Ward dissected that fight with Roy Jones Jr., breaking down the tactical brilliance Crawford used to jump weight classes and dismantle the face of boxing. Most fighters would ride the high of a Canelo win into a rematch or a sloppy cash grab fight. But Crawford treated the Canelo fight as the final boss battle. He proved that skills pay the bills, overcoming the size difference with pure science. Ward celebrated this because it validated the hit and don't get hit philosophy they both preach. By retiring immediately after his biggest win, Crawford froze his legacy at its absolute highest point. He didn't give the sport a chance to humble him.
Man, I ain't boxing no more, man. Y'all can have that. You know what I mean? So, you know what got me back into boxing? That kid that y'all seen performing at my fight got me back in boxing. Just the thought of people saying that he can beat me, and I haven't been boxing for years, led me back to boxing. And him pushing me and me pushing him, and we competing to be the best fighter in the gym. I want to thank all my fans here that support me. I want to thank. This is bigger than the norm, because I want to thank my urban community. I want to thank my Latin community. I want to thank my white community, and I want to thank my Asian community, my African community. I want to thank everybody, because today you see us all as one.
Let's be real about the discipline this takes. By saying, "I have nothing left to prove," Crawford is leaving tens of millions of dollars on the table. There were rumors of a Canelo rematch, speculations about a run at middleweight for a sixth belt, and promoters lining up with blank checks. In the combat sports world, turning down that kind of money is almost unheard of. Ward alluded to this in his post. It's about leaving while it's still fashionable. We've seen too many legends stay too long. We saw Roy Jones Jr. getting knocked out in Russia. We saw James Toney slurring his words. Crawford looked at that history and decided he loved himself more than the money. That is the definition of discipline. It's easy to be disciplined in training camp. It's nearly impossible to be disciplined when someone is waving a 9-figure contract in your face. Crawford chose his future over his bank account, and that is a victory that very few athletes ever achieve.
Crawford retiring makes all the sense in the world to me. I mean, the guy has literally accomplished the biggest thing you can possibly accomplish in boxing, and that's being on Mount Rushmore. I mean, not only did he end on top by being the best fighter in the world, he is a long-lasting fighter. I mean, he's knocking on 39 years old. It's appropriate. And with all the things that he's accomplished and everything that he's gone through as of late, as far as being stripped of the titles and everything like that, listen, man, Terence Crawford is just, it makes sense for him to go ahead and bow out and say that I'm done. And he ends his career as being one of the greatest fighters to ever do it. So shout out to Terence.
In the end, Terence Crawford's exit is a revolutionary act. He showed the next generation that you don't have to let the sport consume you. You can climb the mountain, plant your flag, and climb back down safely. Andre Ward's salute is the final stamp of approval on a flawless career. They are the two grandmasters of this era, the ones who solved the puzzle and walked away with the pieces.
Phenomenal. A message from Terence Crawford. This was on his retirement. The gloves may have come off, but the legacy is forever. History is never retired. I have to say, again, right? So the way Terence Crawford was talking and the kind of vibe you got, even before the Canelo fight was announced, you're talking kind of after he beat Israel Madrimov. You got the impression from Crawford that there was one foot out the door. You got that impression. You know, there was no talk of boots. There was no talk of fighting some of the other guys at 154 pounds. It was really just Canelo or bust. You got that impression of him. And again, he's in his late 30s, 38 years old. So for me, I was thinking, okay, he fights Canelo and we see what happens. Now he fights Canelo, wins, and wins in impressive fashion, might I add. And then you start hearing about rematches. Apparently he was offered Jake Paul. I can kind of see why he turned that fight down, to be fair. But then you hear Canelo Alvarez start talking about Terence Crawford rematch. I have a rematch. We're going to do it next year. Canelo Alvarez, only a couple of days ago, I was speaking about it on Review of the Week, was saying that he's not going to fight in May of this year. He's going to probably leave that to Benavidez and Zurdo. And it's going to fight in September, most likely the Crawford rematch. Well, this put the brakes on that. I don't know how I feel about this.
Crawford proved that skill transcends size, and Ward proved that legacy transcends money. As we look back on 42-0, the question isn't, who could he have fought next? The question is, will we ever see a mind like this again? He didn't just win the belts, he beat the system, he beat the critics, and just like Andre Ward said, he beat the sport. That's all from today's video. If you enjoyed it, remember to leave a like, subscribe, and ring that bell icon so you never miss our upcoming videos. And don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments section. Stay tuned, and we will catch you in the next video.